Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content I will be covering today will be in the MLB world and the world of baseball. And in today's bonus segment video, I'll be sharing my MLB sleeper teams for this MLB season. So we're in the first month of baseball. We're in the halfway point of April as I record this video. So things are starting to play out. You're gonna see. Right now, we're seeing how teams are going to look for the remainder of the season, what teams are getting hot right now, what teams are struggling out of the gates. So these are my sleeper teams for this MLB season. Starting off with an American League team in the Baltimore Orioles. As a New York Yankees fan, it pains me to say that the Baltimore Orioles are arriving onto the scene very, very quickly with this young, talented roster that they have today. They have built over the years, in their golden years, over the years where they were a few games away from competing in the World Series, going all the way to the American League championship in the 2014 MLB season when they had the likes of Manny Machado, Adam Jones, Chris Davis, and others for the Baltimore Orioles. Those days have obviously ended, and ever since 2016, they've been building one of the best farm systems in baseball. They moved off of those talented players that helped them become one of the best teams in baseball over those years. And they've built a great farm system. They have loaded up. They've had a great selection of draft picks over that time frame as well. And they are going to be one of the best young teams in baseball today. Their coming out party was last year during the 2022 MLB season when they finished the season with 83 wins and 79 losses. There was a lot of teams, a lot of analysts out there that thought the Baltimore Orioles wouldn't even win 80 games last year, and myself included, and they did that last year. We're definitely one of the biggest surprises of the 2022 MLB season, and they were just a few games away from making the playoffs as a wild card team. Some things didn't go their way. Their record wasn't good enough to get in, but that was a good coming out party last year to show what this Baltimore Orioles team is going to look like over the next few years. And they're going to be a threat in the American League East, and they're going to be a threat in the American League for years to come. They have a young core of talented players, starting off with Ryan Mountcastle. They also have Gunnar Henderson, and who can also forget their, in my opinion, their best player that they have right now, in Adley Rutschman. Definitely, he's showing this season that he has a lot of power at the plate, hitting a lot of home runs early in the season. So I do believe that those young core players to go along with this young Baltimore Orioles team can be a threat in the American League East and the American League for years to come. And I wouldn't be surprised they lock up a wild card spot this year to help them get into the playoffs for the first time in a long time for the Baltimore Orioles. So they are definitely one of my sleeper teams for this MLB season. Another American League team is the Texas Rangers. Right now, it is very early in the season, like I said in the beginning of the segment. We're still in the first month of baseball, and we're only in the halfway point of April. It's very early, but the Texas Rangers surprisingly are first place in the American League West, with being in the same division as the Houston Astros. So that's a surprise to me that the Astros are kind of starting off flat. Kind of starting off slow. As I record this video, I was just watching the game a few moments ago. They are currently up 9-1 against the Houston Astros on the road in Houston, which that's going to be a big win for the Texas Rangers. Following that game, they've showed that they are on their way to becoming a competitive team, and they're serious about being a competitive team and competing with the other big teams in the American League because they reamped their pitching rotation, signing Jacob DeGrom during the offseason. That is their new ace out there in Texas. That's a huge addition of getting Jacob DeGrom, as I get tongue-tied. They also have Nathan Avalati. I'm sorry, getting tongue-twisted. And Andrew Haney in their pitching rotation. So they're showing that they're serious about being a true threat in the American League one day. And they also have a young third baseman in Josh Jung. With him leading the way for the Rangers and a healthy bullpen, I do believe that the Rangers have a chance to compete for a wild card spot. I don't believe that this will continue them holding on to first place in the American League West. But crazy things happen in baseball. I do expect the Astros to get back on track very, very soon and take control of that division. With that being said, I would not be surprised if the Texas Rangers are a wild card team. They are also one of my sleeper teams for this MLB season. And then we're going to switch our attention to the National League. And my final sleeper team that I've selected for the MLB season is the Chicago Cubs. Just like the Baltimore Orioles, the Chicago Cubs have been building one of the best farm systems in baseball for quite some time. And it started after they won the World Series back in the 2016 season. Last season, this young Chicago Cubs team competed in a total of 51 run games. 51 run games. That's close baseball games if you guys don't know that. And in that 50-game stretch where they were competed in one-run games, they went 24-26 in those games. It's not a 500 record. It's not a winning record, but that shows how competitive that the Chicago Cubs team can be, especially in their rebuilding years, which is a good sign for any rebuilding team to show that your team has some grit and determination to turn things around. And the Chicago Cubs are showing that, even in a losing effort. They have some guys they got to keep a hold of though, and their pitching rotation that's set to be a free agent after this MLB season. When Marcus Stroman and Kyle Hendricks both eligible to be free agents after this MLB season, so they got to retain those guys for the rebuild to be bright and great in Chicago for the Chicago Cubs. If they can hold on to those two guys and get a solid pitching rotation going with this young roster that the Chicago Cubs have, I truly think and whether it's this year, they could be one of the surprise teams this year. I'm not going to be surprised because I'm picking them as one of my sleeper teams. But if they can get a solid pitching rotation going, along to go with this young, talented Chicago Cubs team, I do believe that they could be a competitive team in the National League this year and for years to come. But those are my three MLB sleeper teams for this MLB season. We'll see how good the Baltimore Orioles, the Texas Rangers, and the Chicago Cubs are this MLB season. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.